Instead, you're supposed to say, "What the lollipop are you doing?" Then you'd really get their attention. You really should stop swearing and start using funny words like skittily beampy bump.
Please tell me the cameras were rolling. That was perfect. Can you imagine? Guy is doing some shit. And I'm like, what the skittily beepy dump bump? What? What are you doing?
Happy lollipop.
Welcome to the Elite Life Podcast with your hosts, Trisha and Kyless. Here, we guide you on a journey of personal and professional transformation, revealing the secrets to success. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, join us as we unlock the doors to the elite world of growth, grit, and grace. So, let's dive in.
Welcome, friends, to another episode of the Elite Life Podcast. We are so glad you joined us today. My name is Trish, and that is my lovely co-host, Kylie.
It's me. I'm here, too.
Yeah.
I was early today.
She was.
I beat Trisha to the chair, which is why I'm in her spot.
Yeah, I was getting my extra fitness on.
Yeah, I know. I didn't do that this morning.
That's okay. But today we are here to chat with you about the real estate industry because we love real estate.
We love real estate.
So if you have thought about...
If you be thinking.
If you don't want to live where you're living right now, this one's for you.
We're having too much fun already. Okay, so let's start with a quick overview of the current housing market, okay? Especially here in Michigan, we're seeing very dynamic growth, okay? We're seeing a lot of investors taking advantage of the market right now. We're seeing a lot of first-time home buyers being able to buy. I got a guy into his first house. He had $500 in his bank account, sis. $500. And between Quentin, who's amazing, and me, who's also amazing, and everybody else who was involved, my first-time home buyer was able to get into a house. He didn't have to stay in his slumlord situation where the stove was belching fire. So there's a lot going on here, especially in Metro Detroit. And we're showing that 32% of homes right now are selling above the market price. So this really highlights how competitive things are right now, but it also presents a really amazing opportunity for those looking to leverage the equity that they've got in their current home.
Yeah, and interest rates have recently been dropping and they're forecast to continue. Yes, we, historically, any sort of interest rate in the 6s and 7s has been considered low until COVID happened and we started seeing, oh my goodness, 2s and 3s, which is just absolutely wild. We will probably not see those again.
That was a gift from God, y'all.
It was definitely a gift from God. He's like, I'm sorry that you have the pandemic and you have to be stuck in your house, but hey, I'll let you buy a bigger house for less money.
Boom.
But we, interest rates went up and now we're seeing them come back down. They will probably stabilize in that 5-6 range. Right now we're at about 6.25. This is being recorded in what month are we? September 2024 when this airs. So if you're listening to this in like 2030, I wonder what it's like.
Here's a history lesson.
So right now interest rates are starting to drop. And it's an ideal time to consider making a move, whether you're looking to upgrade or downsize or invest in something new. And we know that process can feel overwhelming. So that's why we wanted to do this episode and really break it down step by step. I actually got a text message last night. It's kind of perfect timing for this episode because somebody that I sold a house to, he was in a house. He wanted to upgrade and get into a bigger house. He has 2 small boys. They're growing. So he wanted to sell his current house, upgrade to a new house. He's like, how can I get a bigger house? We don't want a bigger monthly payment. And so I helped him leverage his equity in his current home, buy the new home, got him seller concessions, brought down the interest rate. But he texted me last night and he's like, you know what? We are so glad we bought this home, but some situations have changed and we actually are going to want to sell it next summer. We see that it's appreciating. Greg Goddard, shout out to him at Cross Country Mortgage. He has this computer system thing, algorithm program that it emails you. And I get the emails too because he did my personal mortgages. I get the emails. They're from a company called HomeBot, and they will tell you like if your property is appreciated and how much. And he's like, yeah, it looks like we have about 12% equity that we've built just in this short amount of time.
That's amazing because you've lived here for a grand total of like what, a year?
A year, yeah.
I can't believe it's been a year.
I know.
That escalated quickly.
I know, but he's got 12% appreciation in his property in just a year. And he's like, so next summer we want to look at selling and buying something new. He's like, but we don't want to rush. We want it to be perfect, perfect school zones, because that was another thing. The new house, so gorgeous. I love it so much. They have like a glass door to their office. And I was like, I really want this house, but it's in where they have school of choice. But apparently they found out that even though they have school of choice, it's like a lottery system. So it's not for sure that both brothers would go to the same school.
Aww.
Yeah. So they're still little. They're not school aged yet. So they're like, we're thinking next summer we're going to start looking for something new. And I said, okay, like no rush, but once, February, March comes around, let's sit down and have another buyer's consultation.
Absolutely.
And talk about what that process looks like, because it looks different every single year. So that's why we thought it would be a good time for us to go through with you guys out in listener land and kind of give you a little rundown of what that looks like right now. So when you see this air next month, you can see, like, even though we just bought our house last year or we just bought our house in 2020, here's what it'll look like today. We can resell and have equity and leverage it. And here's some different ways how.
Absolutely. So first, let's go through, and this is something that we address, at least I address in my buyer consults. It's like all the feelings that we're going to feel, right? So one of the first things we want to address is these emotions that come with buying and selling a home, because Trish and I believe that setting expectations is the very best way to make sure that you have a really great experience. So even if we're setting your expectations for something uncomfortable or something unpleasant, at least you know it's coming so you're not blindsided. So obviously, totally normal to feel stressed. There's a lot of pieces that need to come together, especially if you are going through the process of selling your home and buying a new one, right? A lot of pieces need to come together if that's going to go smoothly. Intimidated, there are a lot of steps that need to be taken to get from point A to point B. Obviously, anxious about how all of this is shaking out. Obviously, buying a house is like one of the biggest things you will ever do in your whole life, next to, getting married and having babies and things like that. So it's really important to understand that it can be an emotional roller coaster. It can be very anxious, intimidating. So all of these big, scary words, but that is the other piece of the puzzle to having a really great team behind you who can set your expectations, hold your hand, and make sure that you understand and you are prepared for everything that's going to happen.
Yeah, I get that a lot where people reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram or via text message, and they're like, I've just been waiting so long because I have all these feelings. And I just want to stress to everybody, like, just reach out, because what happens is they have a conversation with me, and it's only a 15-20 minute conversation, and then I set up an appointment for us to meet in person or Zoom, and they're like, I feel so much better. So we eliminate all of those stressy, anxious feelings, especially if they've worked with another agent and maybe it didn't go great.
Yeah, not all agents are created equal. Not all title companies are created equal. Not all mortgage brokers are created equal. So, having a really great team can be the difference between getting into your dream home and just like going through a complete nightmare.
Yeah. And I hear a lot too, like, and I had this fear too, when I'm selling a house and buying a house, like, will I find what I want. I'm obviously a very particular person.
She's picky as hell, y'all.
I'm very picky. I have very specific standards. And a lot of it though is just because like I'm not handy and neither is Dave. And so I don't want to go into a house. I mean, he can YouTube and fix some stuff, but he's not a builder or a contractor or an HVAC guy or a plumber like that. He's not a tradesman. So we have to hire out anything we want to do. So when we go house hunting, like we only want a house where like, you know, we're doing paint and carpet,
some light fixtures.
Exactly. We want very minimal work. So
stuff your dad can do.
Right. And that's the other thing. Like I don't want family to come over and work on my house because that's the fastest way to start a family war, right? And you know, a lot of people are like, I almost got divorced moving, and I feel that in my soul. After
remember when I told you when we were going through our renovation, I'm like, Lord, if our marriage survives this home purchase and renovation, it'll be a gift from heaven.
Yeah, so go and listen to our episode on home renovating because that will save you a lot of time frustrations. The reason why we make these podcasts is so that you guys can live smarter, not harder. Because
please learn from our mistakes.
We will take you through all the ways not to do it. So you will find a home that meets your needs, no matter how picky you are, no matter how high your standards are. And again, just to reiterate what Kylie said and I said, it all is about having that right team and a solid plan and strategy for success and being set up with those proper expectations. I tell people, like, you know, even if like you were talking about your client, you're missed a down payment assistance, you only have $500, I let them know like, hey, this first house, it may just be a stepping stone on your way to your next property. This house may be one that we buy, and maybe it's not a 10 out of 10. Maybe it's an 8 out of 10, but you're able to build $20,000, $30,000 worth of equity in a couple of years, and then we upgrade you to that 9 out of 10, and then we upgrade you to that 10 out of 10. And that is absolutely okay. You know, a lot of people want to say my forever home, and I was joking with the guy I was talking to last night because he's like, dead seriously, absolutely, without a doubt, this is going to be my last move. And I'm like, yeah, I said that too. And here I am 20 months later, not even a full 2 years. And I'm like, I'm selling this place and buying a condo because now my life has changed. It went from I have kids at home and I want a lake house that we're all going to enjoy to last Sunday I dropped my daughter off at a dormitory and next week Trent's leaving to Canada. It's just going to be me, Dave, and the dog. So when your situations in life change, which is inevitable, you start to think differently and you start to prioritize differently. And that's okay. That's why we're here to show you how you can sell your current home and buy a new home and it be a stress-free situation and you get into an even better phase and season of your life. So again, if you are not 110% in love with where you live, you are not a tree, you can move.
Get up and leave.
Yes.
So circling back to what you said, let's kind of shake out what that personalized plan looks like. So this is what, when I encounter a buyer, whether they're a first-time home buyer or 12th-time home buyer, we sit down and we do, Trisha calls them buyer consults. I call them strategy sessions. And that's literally what we're doing. We are walking you through the process, letting you know everything that's going to happen and really getting a good idea for what your goals, your lifestyle, and your needs are. We want to make sure that we really capture that unique situation because everybody's life looks different. Like Trisha said, everybody's life is changing. You know, it's not a one size fits all situation. So it's really important that we sit down, talk about your goals, talk about what you've got in the bank, and really figure out what's most important to you. Is it most important to you that we move quickly? Is it most important to you that we stay within a specific budget? Do we need to do both? So all of that stuff is really important to talk through in these strategy sessions.
Yeah, there are actually 87 variables in the purchasing process that if any of them aren't lined up the proper way, that is when you run into those stressful situations. So making sure you have the right loan program. Go back to our episode about different mortgage programs. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize you could be conventional, you could be FHA, you could be rural development,
you can get a bridge loan.
You can get a bridge loan. Like there's so many different loan programs. interest rates, is it actually, here's the other thing people don't realize, like you might have a 5% FHA, but you have PMI and MIP and all of these things that add on to it. So you still have a higher
all of these abbreviations.
Payment. Yeah, I call it alphabet soup.
Soup.
You end up with a higher payment at that 5% interest rate on an FHA loan than your conventional loan that has no PMI and no MIP and no alphabet soup and no built-in this or that. So interest rates, programs, grants, down payment assistance programs. Do you need credit repair? Maybe we do some very easy credit repair and your credit might be good, right?
That's the thing is like people call me and they have like, oh, I'm not ready. Or I call them and they're like, you have no idea. You don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. And checking Credit Karma is the absolute worst way to figure out what your credit is. Because like Greg told us many, many episodes ago, the score that you look at to buy a house is different than the score you would look at for a personal loan, for a auto loan, for a HELOC. Like it's completely different.
Yeah, there's 3 different credit bureaus, but then they equal out to what's called your FICO score. But there are like, I think he said something crazy, like 57 different modules for FICO scores.
Amount of different FICO scores.
Yeah, so like I know when I went to go buy a car before I bought my last house, I went and bought a car and my credit score was like an 835 or an 845, and I was like, woohoo! And then I went to go buy my house and he's like, oh yeah, you're a 799. And I'm like, I know my credit didn't go down that far from buying a car. And that's when he's like, no, you know, there's one credit for a car and then there's different credit for a house. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And that is also why, depending on what lender you go to, you get dramatically different things, because one lender may use this FICO option and a different lender may use a different FICO option. So your score with this lender may be different than your score with another lender. So there's a lot of different variables, like you mentioned, different title companies, different homeowners insurance companies. All of these things add up to different dollars and cents. So with that buyer's consult or buyer education session, sometimes I call it that, we really nail down, like you were saying, those nitty gritty details, because that could be the difference between a yes or no on buying this house or that house, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's really quick talk about getting the valuation for your home's equity, because I feel like a lot of people think it's a pretty simple process. Essentially, the formula is relatively simple. You look at what the market value is of your house. You subtract what you still owe on it, and not just your mortgage, any assessments, any liens, anything else that has to be paid off before you close. And that's what your equity is. The tricky part is getting that market valuation, because a lot of people will go to Zillow, a lot of people go to realtor.com, and they will see these inflated prices. So essentially, like we've talked about a bajillion times before, these third-party sites were not created to give you information. They were created to get your information. They were created to create enough of a hook for you to be interested to submit your name, email, phone number for more information on whatever it is you're looking for. So taking those, and what was the other thing we talked about too? Oh, they don't look at the unique aspects of your property.
No, I mentioned this in another episode. I'm like, if you took a, 2-bedroom trailer and you set it next to $1 million home, Zillow will say that the trailer is worth $1 million because it's just a computer algorithm. And so that's what I said to the guy I was talking to last night. I'm like, I love Greg's tool. HomeBot is awesome. However, if you want an actual nailed down value of your house, you need a human being to do that, because no computer algorithms. That's why you guys see all these jokes that realtors post about Zillow. People are very shocked to find out that Zillow is not a site that was made to help customers and clients. It is made purely to steal your data and sell it to realtors. We buy zip codes on Zillow and realtor.com so that we can get your information and call you and help you. But people don't understand that. They're like, well, my Zestimate is this, or my HomeBot is that, or my this is this. It's completely irrelevant. Sometimes it's a good guide, but if you live in a mixed
very
neighborhood,
rough ballpark.
Yeah, it's
very rough.
It's just a computer algorithm. So again, like you got a trailer, I got a 10,000 square foot house. Now your trailer is worth more money because it's next to my 10,000 square foot house. But once a human looks at that, they're going to be like, no, it's a trailer. It's not the same, right? So that's why it's really important to work with a realtor. You see, you know, people out there, they're doing a for sale by owner. Oh, I can do this myself. I can do this myself. You could, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, you don't take out your own teeth. You could do that. I'm not giving myself a haircut. I could do that, right? There's a lot of things you can do on your own, but you don't, because you want an expert to handle that situation. Because if you mess up one of those 87 variables, like you said, it's the biggest investment of your life. Do you really want to mess up a $500,000 or even $100,000, even an $80,000? You want to mess that up? You want to mess with 80 grand, 90 grand, 100 grand, 200,
I mean,
500?
It truly can be the difference between hundreds of thousands of dollars. It really, really can.
Absolutely. Especially when we start talking about like selling and buying at the same time.
Because you need all that money.
Well, yeah. And a few years back, there was a... how do I do this anonymously? There was a human that came to me and he's like, oh, well, I'm going to sell my own house. And then he kept like asking me questions. And I'm like, do you understand that if you have to ask me more than 10 questions, you shouldn't be doing this by yourself? Like if
more than 5.
Yeah. If I would have put this house on the open market, I would have got you a lot more money and you wouldn't be going through all of the drama that you're going through. Now you got a bad appraisal and you got this and you got that. And now this is happening and that's happening and you don't know what to do. And he's like, oh, well, I definitely want you to help me. I just needed to save this money. And I'm like, listen, here's the thing though. Number one fact, 2/3 of the homes that are sold without a realtor don't go to closing. They don't even get to closing because things go wrong and they go sideways and the deal falls apart.
And nobody knows how to handle it.
Yes. And 79% of the deals the seller nets less money than they would have if they would have used a realtor and paid that commission.
Yep.
So that means only 21% actually net more money. And those 21% are probably people that used to be realtors. So it's super
Or have
important.
one in the family and they're getting some under the table advice on marketing and stuff. Because that's really what it comes down to too, is, you know, having the understanding of the market and having the understanding of how to market, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, what to use. So when you're selling a house and buying a new one, had he allowed me to sell his house, I could have set him up with a bridge loan, right? Or with a HELOC. We could have used a HELOC. There's so many things we could have used. And instead, he's going out in the marketplace and trying to buy and not even knowing how to structure his next purchase.
Yeah.
And it just becoming a mess. And then he calls me with another situation because he goes and finds a pocket listing and he goes, oh, well, they told me if I just work with their realtor, then I get the house for less. And I'm like, oh, honey, let me tell you, it doesn't work like that because that listing agent has the contract to get 6% commission. So whether your agent gets 3% and helps you, or he keeps all 6% and only helps the seller because that's his job and his fiduciary duty, the same money is coming out. So you did not actually save any money. You probably ended up paying more because that agent's job is to get their client the most money
And the
for
best deal.
the house, right? So now you're in an inspection and you're finding out that, oh, the foundation is bad. Oh, they didn't disclose XYZ. Oh, now it's not appraising for what it's supposed to, where I could have ran you some comps and told you all these things and your life would have been a lot easier. So now you just lost tons of money on inspections and appraisals
and time. You were involved in this house situation that you were not getting guidance on and you don't have representation for, and you missed out on 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 other potential really great homes for you.
Yeah. So super important part of the process, having this strategy session, going through, is it the best option for you to do a bridge loan? Is it the best option for you to do a HELOC? Is it the best option for you to go contingent? Is it the best option? I can teach you how to take the money out of your 401k and not get penalized for it, right? You've been saving this money your whole life. Let's use some tax-free strategies to be able to leverage the money that you've saved throughout your life and not have to write a bunch of offers and not have to go contingent and be able to clear those things. But you're listening to this podcast right now and you're like, I don't even know what those things are. That's why you need to call us.
Yeah, there it is. We'll give you a free strategy session.
Free strategy session.
Okay, so just to recap, number 1, call us. What's our phone number?
734-513-2166.
That's the office. You're going to call. You're going to get Kim. She's delightful. And then you're going to say, I was listening to the Elite Life podcast. I need to speak with Trisha or Kylie right away because I need a strategy session. And I will tell you right now, I have clients who are not planning on jumping into the market until January. We are meeting in November. I have clients who are not planning on jumping into the market until November. We're meeting in September. It is important, just like doctor's appointments, surgeries, again, like Trisha said, this is a huge, huge situation. Going into it blind and going into it without a professional, without a strategy, without a plan, what's that saying? Failure to plan is planning to fail?
Yep.
It'll suck. It will completely suck.
Yeah. Let's start like 6 to 8 months ahead of time. Get you ready so that when it's time, you're ready. Your credit is pristine. You have your money and your strategy set up. It's smooth sailing and you are happy. If you go on our Google reviews, 5 stars all day long. This morning we got another 5-star. It's all 5 stars because we have the strategy session. So book a strategy session. Let's sit down, put together the proper strategy for you. This is not a box that you have to fit in. Everybody has their own plan. Let's connect, get your goals, set up the strategy, go through the process,
and make it an amazing experience.
Let's make it fun.
I love it. Thanks so much for joining us today. I hope that this was informative for you. You got some nuggets, you got excited, and you got the wheels turning on getting to that next chapter of life. So make sure before you go, share the show, subscribe so you don't miss any other amazing stuff. We put out fresh content every Thursday. So make sure you come back next week for more Elite Life.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on the Elite Life Podcast with Trish and Kylie. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend so we can keep delivering you more fantastic insights on grit, grace, and growth. Stay connected with us on Instagram and Facebook, where we'll keep the ideas flowing to help you build a life you love and leave a legacy you can be proud of. Until next time.